All right, so here comes the camera. This is Multiview 5. I'm trying to get this out for you guys soon, so those of you guys who want to start working on it can do it. And this is the last required Multiview drawing for all of them. The template, it's going to be absolutely critical that you start with the template file, and that is available on the CAD PCHS website. I'll direct you guys there in class. I've already set this up in metric units. Your layers look identical to what they did look like before. And you can see this says 100 because if I go back and what I'm going to do is Control V, I'm going to paste my camera right here. You'll notice that this says this is 100 long. Well, we know it's not 100 inches because that would be a little shy of 9 feet, and that would be a pretty big camera. So this is actually an old Pentax camera that I used to have, and so we'll use this to get going, okay? Pretty easy drawing, actually, but this is, again, a departure from where you've been, which was using these grids, like the drawing was on graph paper. Now you are using actual dimensions with units, okay? So you have text already set up for you with the correct height in my book. I think that's about the right size, as well as dimensions that I've created, the correct height, dimension styles, okay? So I'm going to copy this line for a starter. Actually, I don't even care about doing that. I'm just going to start by drawing a line, and if I look, the object is 100, and this is millimeters. So I type in 100, and that gives me a 100 millimeter line. You got to do a little math in this, in fact, because if I go here and I say, all right, how tall is the camera? I look down this right side and I see, okay, it is 50, but this camera actually was black around this body, and then where this portion over here, this rectangular division, this was like chrome or like a silver or aluminum or something. So you can see it's up 50, but then it's up 10 more, which means that the overall height is actually 60. Okay. Was that right? Yeah, 50 plus 60. Okay. I'm not going to go ahead and I think this actually will be a 3-part video because there are more parts in this to draw. So I just copied this because why draw it again? And I'm going to copy this because, again, why would I draw it twice? Okay. This is a part right here where you're going to want to, and it doesn't matter which order you do it in, but in order to get this line coming down 10, I'm just going to use my offset tool. So I'll go offset 2, I'm sorry, not offset, O space, 10, bring this down, and you are in great shape, okay? Students oftentimes, because they can't see from the perspective that it's in, they think that the lens here, which is a diameter of 50, they think it's actually like at the same level as the bottom of the camera, but in fact it's not. It's centered in the camera. So in this case, I'm going to draw a construction line, and remember X marks the spot. So if I go from here to here, this line has a midpoint. I don't actually have to do like X marks the spot, because if my midpoint object snap is turned on, I can just go ahead and draw a circle, and I can come right to this midpoint, and I can see that that lens is a diameter of 50. So in this case, I'll hit D spacebar for diameter and just type in 50. And there's my lens. Okay, so this side is actually shaping up pretty quick. I don't need this construction line anymore. So I'm going to go now and take care of one thing I know I can do right off the bat. That aluminum trim does not go through my lens. I should expand this a little bit to make it a tiny bit bigger. That might make things easier. And I'll move it as well. So I'll move this upwards a little bit. Okay, let's deal with this middle section. The height on this is 10, and it tells me that the width is 30. However, it doesn't tell me anything else. It says, I guess it does say this is 35 over from the right, plus 30. Well, I know 35 plus 30 is 65, and I know this is 100 overall. So 100 minus 65, it gives me that same space of 35 over here. So I've worked that out, and that to me says that this thing is dead center. So I'm going to draw a line at a height of 10, but I need to offset that line. Is how wide is that little wedge-shaped piece? It's 30, so I'm going to have to offset 15 to the right, 15 to the left, and get rid of this. It's no longer needed. Now I connect the dots. Now we can see over here that this wedge-shaped piece, there's an angle in the front of it, but I can't perceive the angle from looking at this head-on from the front. So we'll leave that alone, okay? I'm going to go over now to this side, and I see I have a round button. This is like the rewind tool on this old camera, and it is centered 15 over from the right side and has a diameter of 20 and a height of 5. So what I'm going to do is deal with the height first. I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to draw a line that's 5. But I need to get that over so that the center of it is 15 millimeters from the right side. So in this case, I'm just going to move it. So I click here. I'm going to click the bottom. That's where I want to grab it from. And I just type in 15. This is where now I'm going to use offset again. And the diameter is 20, so half of 20 is 10. We go 10 to the right, 10 to the left. Connect the dots with this line. There's my button. Yes, it's round, but I can't tell it's round if I'm standing directly in front of it. All right. I'm going to go to the button on this side, and I see that this button, now this is something that you would have learned like in hand drafting, but I can still see it's a height of 5, but they've made this X across the middle of it that crisscrosses. And it means, what this means is that each one of these units is 5 by 5 by 5. Okay. So that means that overall, the entire width of this and the depth of this are 10 and a height of 5, same thing, set over 15. So literally what I could do here, I've already drawn something with a height of 5, so steal it. Bring this on over, stick it on the corner, use your move tool and space, select right here, and how far did it go over? It went over 15. I had to go back and look. So again, it only is going to work if that green polar light, right, is on. So I go over 15. And just like I said before, we know that the button is 10 wide. So if I want to make it 10 wide, I offset 5 in either direction, 5 to the left, 5 to the right. I think I said that backwards. Click here, and the camera is done from the front. There's nothing else there. All right. So I'll come back, and in this case, I am only going to use the method of projection to do the top and to do the right side. Okay. So we'll call it quits on that, and I will get that uploaded.